Hello, and thank you for joining us again here in the Vast Parlor. It is my pleasure today to bring the gentleman you see here with me, Mr. Adam Cullen, also known as ALTEX from Boey Audio. Great guy, label owner, DJ, promoter, liver of the culture, trying to push it all forward from Ireland. So why don't you tell us who you are and where you are and kind of what do you do within
Yeah, man. So Adam. I DJ under ALTEX as the monkey. I produce some music as well. But mainly I run Boey Audio. It's like a small artist label that started a couple of years ago as a platform label, which is like free downloads and generally like upcoming artists. And I guess it's just developed into more of a label releasing music and stuff over them 3 years. And that's where we're at now. Just new label basically releasing tunes, but we've got a bit of a following and around Europe and stuff and around the world now. So we're doing all right considering.
For sure. Was there ever was the goal or the intent at the beginning, was it just to be platform based, and then since that it kind of grew and as things do organically, then go, hey, we're going to put out not real releases, but we're going to actually put a catalog release, charge money for it, have it. Was that natural, or was that always kind of what you wanted to
do? I used to always be like, yeah, it's totally natural, and I think it was like the progression was definitely natural, but like definitely when I was like, I'm sure when I was like a kid, when I was like 16, 17, I was like, oh, it'd be cool to have a label someday or whatever.
Okay.
But did I think it was going to be Boey? Maybe not. Like Boey did. It was. So yeah, maybe the intention was always there, but I always said I'd never like release official stuff unless it was like stuff that needed releasing. Unless it was like, no, this needs to like, and then the rest of the stuff, the whole idea of the platform label was exactly that. It was to really be a platform label, to give people that room to like expand and grow and like
sure.
They're going to put some content out to show progress or to gain a bit of a following or show people, hey, this is what I'm trying to do, this is where I'm at, meet new producers, stuff like that.
It's like a going-based incubator.
But I think once the music gets to a certain level, you need to start being a bit more self-aware, I think, and honest with what's going on and be like, well, look, is it good for the scene to be putting release quality tunes out for free download, if that makes sense? You know what I mean?
100%.
Like, well, hang on, isn't that kind of counterintuitive to what we're building these platform artists to be? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like we're trying to build to be a brand that eventually these guys can put out on a build them to get to a real label. And obviously now we're trying to become a real label, I guess. But that's kind of how it all happened, and that progress and that thought process I just broke down that I had myself kind of just happened in and out over the 3 years. Like sometimes I was like, no, we're going to stay a platform label, we're not going to sell out, all this sort of stuff, like, and when you're just like being an idiot, and then you kind of you get a light bulb and you're like, oh, or you meet somebody, or you talk to somebody who has a bit more experience in the scene or who is a bit more established, and then they get you that little light bulb and they're like, man, like if you actually just like kind of look at it like this, and then I was like, oh shit, So, I guess there's a bit of both. There was probably subliminal intention, but for the most part, it was a natural progression from platform to, getting the quality of music and stuff that we needed, etc., etc.
Sure, because you want to stay true, and you need to stay true to the mission to incubate new talent. But I think what I've seen over, and I know you've seen, is at a certain point, to be able to do that effectively, there does have to be an investment. And free downloads sometimes don't translate to make that investment happen. And like many people that I know we both talk to, it's like, if I break even, I'm cool. Because you're not going to get rich in this game. You know what I mean? You might get something that boom bangs out. But actually, you're 32 cents a piece, you're 32 cents a sell, you're not breaking any records. But again, if you can manage to give yourself and the artist with that 33 cents at play or download or purchase, you can get a little bit better mastering, some graphics, some ads, and put those artists in front of it. And I think that there's
and it's the principle of it as well. It's like, because I think last year was a big learning curve for us, and I think I kind of was under the assumption that, oh yeah, I'm just going to put all this music out, and the crowd that we've built who are mainly there on SoundCloud to get free downloads and to get tunes for their sets for free and to get samples and stuff for free. You know, like obviously they're like, oh yeah, big up, I'll support it, you know, because it's free. But when it comes to like actually turning that into like charting and revenue and sales, like you kind of realize then when you're selling the music, you're like, oh, okay, so this crowd is really good and they're great and like they show up to the gigs and they're all like super enthusiastic. Some of them, 10% of these are going to be the future producers, the future DJs, etc.
Yeah.
But like the reality is like that's not if you want to like sell music and you're trying to get into like DJs playlists and on like real artists mixes and stuff, you know, you have to kind of go a different way about it, I guess. You know, I don't know, it's a hard one to kind of quantify into words, but you know, it's just that shift in mentality and it's the principle of it. You know, it's like we're not just giving this, it's just even just that one, we're selling this now, you know. I think that little shift, and then telling the artists, like, you know, not to take themselves too seriously because it's drum and bass at the end of the day, like we were saying. Sure. At the end of the day, it's like fucking repetitive dance music that we play in a fucking club, you know, and like dance around like goofballs or whatever. But like, you know, to take it seriously, take yourself seriously enough and like look at yourself as more of like an artist and more, you know, what you want to do and have a bit of drive or intention, like you were saying earlier. You know, like, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? Do you want this EP to go out and just get a top 50? You know what I mean? Or do you want this EP to go out and get into the top 10 and get some gigs from it and like network more, meet some more people, maybe go on to a bigger label then, you know, like what do you want to do? You know, and then part of that, understanding that as a label first. You know what I mean? So you can translate that to your artists and be like, oh look, we're not just like gonna throw this music out and hope that it does well or whatever, you know. Just that little mentality shift, I think, is important with like going from being a guy who's chucking out free downloads to going to be a guy who's making 2 or 3 EPs a year and is trying to sign to like Dispatch, Critical, etc., whatever you're, if it's a jungle label, a jump up label, Born on Road, whatever, you know. And like you have that mentality shift, I guess. Yeah.
And did you get a lot of, I know that sometimes the silence is more of the feedback than someone actually saying, oh, now you want to take, you know, you're trying to convert me into a customer as opposed to a fan. Yeah. Have you gotten a lot of like actual, like people responding in text and actually saying shit like that? Or has it just been kind of the
oh yeah, well, I mean, it's been more the proof is in the pudding. Do you know that kind of way? Like at the end of the day, the pandemic hit, and well, it was the real big thing that made me like be really self-aware. That shift that happened for Boey anyway, like, you know, that we were entering a new kind of stage or whatever, was the pandemic hit. And it was always like a hobby or something fun that I done, and we go play gigs and we all get together, and you know, no one's really worried about money or whatever. And you know, I lost basically a bunch of fucking money for the first 2 years. All it was losing money. Like, I never made anything. All the releases still cost just the same to master, just the same. Like we done, you know, you release with us the art that I don't, just because I'm doing a free release or a promotional release doesn't mean I'm gonna self-master it and get me mate to do a fucking 5 quid cover.
You still want to put out a good product. You still want to put out, out art. And
the whole idea is to give the artist the label experience before the label, and kind of be like, yeah, this is, you know, just for, and the same as us, to give us experience, being like, right, how do we deal with different artists that get different things done, whatever. But yeah, I'm rambling now. I had a big fat fucking bomb before this, but yeah, you know, it's just
you're in a safe place here.
Yeah, I followed your blog a few times, man. I had it on an RRS on my old thing, but yeah, I'm a big fan of the herb too. I'm a big proponent of CBD. I'm kind of getting into the CBD industry here in Ireland, so it
changed everything for me. Everything.
Oh man, it's amazing, you know.
And you know, I've been smoking my whole life, like really since I was a teenager. That's no big surprise there.
Yeah.
As I got older and I started getting, you know, you get older and things start hurting more. And when I was like, you know, I had some issues with arthritis, and the doctor's like, you can eat better and use CBD and cannabis, or you can just do whatever the fuck you want and I'll just shoot you full of fucking chemicals in your knee. And I was like, let me give this a try. So because of my kidney issue, I couldn't take a lot of painkillers. So it was like, this will help regulate all that. Dude, I haven't in a year and a half had one issue. except for like when it rains sometimes, you know, you're a little creaky and shit.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But yeah, it fucking changed everything. I take it every day, every fucking day.
No, I'm a real big proponent of that. Like, I think as well, it's like another thing I've been going through as well as growing in drum and bass, is growing in understanding like the legit medicinal properties of cannabis, like all the cannabinoids, but specifically mainly CBD and hemp. Like when I first seen it, I thought it was like a gimmick. You know, it's like, oh, it doesn't even get you high. It's so dumb, whatever. You know. And then as like you see how much it helps specific people with specific ailments, and it's like literally life changing. You know, and like I'm even getting emotional even thinking about some of it, but like literally changes people's lives, and then you're just like, oh man, this is so much more important than just like sitting in your room getting stoned playing video games or something. You know, this is like, this is like fucking so significant for you know, our well-being as you know, functioning humans. You know, for like the amount of stuff it helps, it's just mind-blowing. And like you probably are aware, the most receptors we have in our body is for cannabinoids. You know? We're literally primed, made for this stuff. So yeah, I'm really happy now that it's coming through legal in Ireland. Like actually, you know, there's people selling hemp bud and stuff in shops, stuff like that now, which is the first step to full legalization, obviously. But because yeah, they brought medicinal in, you know. Oh mate, and in Baltimore is do you have medicinal legal or is it full legal? Nice one.
Medicinal.
I can smell them here, man. I can smell them here.
Half ounce, just sitting there on the bookshelf.
Oh, it looks lovely, man. Yeah, see, that's the one thing we're missing in Ireland is they brought medicinal weed in, but so much controversy around it. Like the main thing was for a young girl. Oof, yeah, they looked lovely. There's a young girl called Ava, and she had a Dravet syndrome, I think it's called. So it's like heavy, very, very like debilitating seizures. The extent that it like breaks your neurological well-being down. Just like, you know, you die from it. You know, like I think it's Dravet or something. But yeah, she was quite a controversial story. Like her mum was like walking the whole way from the south of Ireland to the capital, like walking, bro. You know, because like in protest for the girl, because they were like refusing her medication. It was horrible, man. It was a real nasty time if you're, you know, if you understood it. It was real upsetting to see. But they had to go to Holland. They literally had to fly out there in their own money, fundraise just to go out to Holland to, you know, get their kid back, you know. And finally they brought it in Ireland, and then they only gave like 6 or 7 people licenses, you know. So there's all these people who have like MS and various different things, and they've like, oh yeah, weed's legal, and then like it took them over a year, 2 years to even get half of them licenses and to supply what they needed and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really sad. And I think even now, it's at the minute it's still only topicals, or not topicals. I can't remember the word they use.
Like concentrated oils, tinctures
and oils. Yeah. So, but like they're great. Like it's real legit shit. It's not chemical derived. They are using real legit products. I think it's like a Dutch supplier or something. But yeah, it's not okay. You know what I mean? How can only a handful of people have medical licenses for extremely serious problems? You know, when there's like, you know, how can you say that they deserve it or that they need it, and that these thousands of people that use it for very different things don't? So we are still in a bit of there's still like a lot of progress to go in Ireland, but it is slowly getting there with help from the EU, I think, as well, because, you know, I think EU-wide they're going to be looking at maybe regulating it and taxing it everywhere now soon. So
I think we're starting to see that here. Like I said, I think there's 33 states now it's medicinal, and there's 19.
Oh, nice. That's amazing.
19 states are recreational. And the governor of New York just said yesterday he was going to try and push it through full legalization by the end of the year. He's like, this is what we're going to, you know, this is going to rebuild the economics. You know, you have 25 to 30% of Americans out of work. Like, I'm one. My fiance is one, you know. So it's like the money that's there for this, like, so we can sell this and we can use it. And then the hemp industry with like just all the concrete and the medicine and
exactly,
the paper, the fabric, the material, we can literally pay for this with this plant, you know.
Yeah, it's good. It's nice to see
$20
people
billion a year industry.
Why aren't we doing this? You know what I mean? It's like so crazy. Yeah. Like here in Ireland, I think they have 4 registered hemp plantations. Now they're quite vast. They're big, but they're not. It wouldn't be medicinal. It'd be fiber, like so, be for building materials and clothes and stuff. But yeah, even that, I remember like there was a bit of controversy with fucking them letting grow fibrous hemp, like not a strain that you'd necessarily get bud off. You know, like you get bud off, but you wouldn't smoke it. You know,
right?
Process it maybe into a CBD product, but you wouldn't even sell it as like.
But even the grade of those plants aren't even really good for medicinal.
Oh no, it's literally like,
you know, it's like growing bamboo. You know, not all bamboo you can eat.
Yeah, you're talking like you're getting a field and like compressing it and condensing it into like a tiny amount just to get the same as what you get off like a you know, one of the more modern high CBD strains. But they are now legal, but like you can't get like an industrial license to grow them. You have to. I think I might be wrong now. I'm not like fully fucking educated on this or in any way. But yeah, I'm pretty sure there's like a slight difference in the genetics of the strains. But these new strains now, the EU just passed them recently, or like whatever family of strains of the hemp. You know, it's like whatever, one of the 2-3 strains of hemp. It's like similar to sativa, indica, whatever, ruderalis. But yeah, one of them's basically the one that gets you, you know, you can smoke and it's nice and it tastes like kind of like weed and looks like weed and almost looks like it has like crystals and terpenes and all on it. And then the other one's just like, you know, you've probably seen it. It's like bush, you know.
Okay.
You'll be able to smoke it there. But yeah, they grow a bunch of that here, but they really need to start. Dude, like we had the perfect climate as well for indoor growing. Like, so if they did, there could be a huge industry here if they actually, you know, gave it a couple billion at the start and kickstart the education and got people there like the business stuff, you know.
Make you real profitable really quick. It's got
it would.
Not to mention all the benefits.
10 years before it fucking happens, you know how they are.
It's true. They just gotta figure out how they're gonna get their cut first.
Yeah, exactly.
Do a lot of people in Truma Basin Island smoke weed like they do here?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people. I'm probably
in general, but I mean,
most of the people that I know, I'm probably a bad example. Like,
no, I'm the same way.
But like, most of the people I know, man, yeah, like they'd all be fucking. I don't know. They'd like, you know, they'd at least would have smoked at some stage of their life or being a casual smoker in college or something. So it's like, I think it is very normalized here on a societal level, like, or on a cultural level or whatever. But it's just more the government level. And again, Ireland's famous. Everyone knows we're the most corrupt country in Europe. Everyone knows it. Like, the only reason that shit takes ages to get through is exactly what you said. They're trying to figure out how can we get the most, how can we regulate it, how can we make sure that the growers are growing for us and not, you know, open up their own business. That's what I think they're kind of doing. You know, they're kind of a government-run facility that they're going to hire people rather than letting people open up their own guerrilla facilities all around.
Yeah, they can do it here. How do we know they're not going to do it somewhere else because they know what they're doing?
If you look
how the fuck do they get to know that without doing it?
Exactly. It's like, you know, they don't want me to be able to grow like fucking 9 massive trees, you know, and keep it technically it's only 9 trees, but they're like, you know, whereas they want you to come in and do like clinical boom, boom, boom. And it's like, then they can fucking make money off it. You know what I mean? They're the ones that make money. It's fucked. But
they're cut.
As well, like, you know, whatever. It's a big deal when something's been illegal for so long. To bring it in, it is a big deal. You know, like it's not to us, like we think it's stupid, but like we're not the whole country or we're not the whole census.
Sure.
You know? It's like
ease them in a little bit.
Yeah, straight out. Yeah, some CBD coffee or something. You know, get them like, you know, get them like.
They're like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's the plan, bro. You know, that's the plan.
I'm wondering if it's a harder sell there because of your healthcare system. We're here. One of the great selling, again, that's like, this is a heck of a lot cheaper than the pills that you're gonna have to take, or you don't need a prescription. You don't need to go see a doctor if you don't have insurance to get this.
Yeah, I think definitely that like the pharmaceutical and medical industries are a big part of it because like it's no secret as well, we're a pharmaceutical hub for the world. So like some of the biggest, like, you know, we that's why we are such a well-off country and why we do so well is Intel's here, Facebook's here, Google's here. We're all, you know, one of the North European hubs. And then on the other hand, you have Wuxi, you know, all these huge Chinese biological countries popping up factories left, right, and center. Yeah, making like biomechanics, biometrics, pharmaceuticals, stuff like that. We've got a huge pharmaceutical industry here since like
in Ireland,
early 90s, late 80s. Yeah, that's why we're so prosperous in the last, you know, that's kind of what pulled us out of the last recession that we had as well was that we had that backbone of the pharmaceutical. Like pharmaceuticals in Ireland have always been good, even through all the shit. Tech took a dip, but the pharmaceuticals kind of kept us going, to be honest. Or the interest from the international companies. Like I'm talking mega bucks, man. You know, like big money for Ireland anyway. Like
wow,
yeah, multi-million building projects all over the country every couple of years. You know.
Wow. And I'm sure they've got the laws and the politicians in their pocket to pass the laws.
Oh, exactly. This is what I'm saying. You know, you don't end up with fucking 80 pharmaceutical factories on your fucking country for no reason. You know what I mean?
They just don't happen to go there.
Tax haven, you know, and like look at Apple. Look at everyone. They had to pay us money. We didn't even want it. We were trying to, our government, the European, whatever, corruption commission or whatever, tax people, I don't know who the fuck it was. They were like, yeah, Apple owes Ireland 6 billion or something crazy. Would have like completed us, took us completely out of recession, sorted our housing crisis, everything. And our fucking government were like, no, we don't want it. We don't want it. And it's like, no, you don't understand. Like, they went to court, you know, they have to give it to you. Like, and our government were like, no, they can keep it. They can keep the 6 million. You just got the 6 billion. So like, if that's not a blatant tax haven, I don't know wow. What the fuck to tell you. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So, if you can imagine, it's been the same with tech and pharmaceutical companies since the 80s here. They've just had a free-for-all. But in a fucked up way, it's like, it's worked out well. You know, it's obviously that's just how fucking corporate level business works or something. I don't understand, but
sure.
Yeah, we're doing all right. So,
hey.
You know what I mean? It might be pretty fucking corrupt and weird, but we're doing all right. So,
sure. It allows you to have a nice, thriving drum and bass community in Ireland.
That's what I mean. Yeah, I can't complain, man. It's kind of weird. It's like, you know, it's that weird. It's the same as living in a country like the States or the UK or whatever, or Ireland. You know, we're part of the UN. I know fucked up shit happens off the back of my country all the time. You know, but you're just kind of like, yep. I'm just gonna live my life and pretend that you know, everyone's alright. It's like weird, man.
I think it's back to what we were talking about before we started. As long as you have that, if you have the intent.
Yeah, it shows. It's all about your intent, isn't it? Yeah. Like a lot of things in life, I guess. You know.
For sure.
Definitely. It's unfortunate that governments never seem to have a good intent half the time, bro.
Yeah. They don't fucking nothing.
But yeah, fucking. Well, I wanted to actually ask you some stuff if you don't mind, man. I don't know how you feel about it. But, yeah, so drum and bass in Philly. You know what I mean? What's that like out there? Like, what's the scene like? Is there gigs or is there events or?
There was we were doing, our crew Imperial was doing a lot 2016, 2017, 2018. Once 2019 kind of came, it kind of dropped off a little bit. The guys that were doing the business side behind of it, I was just a resident. Just don't make it sound like I was doing it because I was not throwing the events. I was just one of the residents. But the crew, you know, our crew, we had once a month we had every tour that was in the America. We were one of the, you know, the spots. You know, they would play. You know, they played Boston, they played New York, they would play, you know, Respect out in LA, Stamina down in San Francisco, Elements in Boston. You know, other places. You know, hopefully I'm not forgetting anybody, which I know I probably am. But it was really good. It was really strong. I honestly am not the right person to answer about parties and raves scene drum and bass anymore. I love it. That's not really where I'm at this stage. I'm not raving. I love it. I'm so glad that it happens and it's a part of it. But the clubs, it was good. It was pretty good. We've always traditionally had a strong scene here. We've always had like quality events. DC is, you know, 2 hours south of us, and DC has always got slamming events. New York always has decent events. New York has good. New York has good events.
Is there many like artists coming out of Philly or New York or DC or that area? You know, like in drum and bass specifically?
There's more, it seems, all the time. There was for a while, like, you know, there was obviously like in the golden era when Trace lived here. So we had Trace, Carl K, Chaos, Jay Kennedy. Then there was the Gasm Boys with Mason, D-Star, Trust. Armani Rain, the biggest MC in the United States, is from here. He lives in Atlanta now, but he's definitely a Philly a Philly guy. And then, I'm trying to think, there's been so many people over the years. As of late, it's picking up. I mean, I've been putting things out now for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And then the other couple of guys from Imperial, the Funk Lord has, I think, a track out on a Brazilian label. Anthony Self and Malevil have a tune or two signed. One's out on Tactical Audio. I gotta tell you, as I hate this question when I get it, because they're like, "You're pretty vocal. You're out there. You're pretty active in drum and bass. What's Philly like?" And I'm like, "I don't leave my basement. I'm old."
Yeah.
Part of it because it's like I have that guilt, like I should be going out.
You have that feeling like I'm literally forgetting like 80% of people. That's what I like when people ask me about Ireland as well. They're like, "Oh, what's Irish drum and bass like?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's good. Like, yeah." Like, who is there? And I'm just like, "Yeah, there's a couple of people. There's this guy and that guy." And then after it, I'm like, "Oh yeah, I forgot like 10 people. Like, I probably should have mentioned. They're like upcomers or different things." I think that's natural, man. I wouldn't worry about that. But that sounds cool. It's nice to hear that. It's. I think it's interesting as well. You were saying that like you have a guy from Imperial as well who signed to like a Brazilian label. Like
Internet.
that's just fucking wild. I think or like you putting music out on Boey. It's like I know it's wild how the internet can work like that. How we all just link up and fucking. Like we're talking now. We're miles and miles away, but we have a rapport. We know each other. We chat each other for years.
We have a little chat. Yeah. I also want to say, because again, I'm sure it's gonna pop up and my buddy's gonna be like, "What the fuck?" The guys that do the Jungle Room, they were doing a monthly, but now it's moved online, obviously, with everything that's going on. With Art Cubic, Joey Breakdown, and Armin, they're also all working on tunes as well.
Nice.
Want to make sure I got them in there. I'm trying to think like, wait, who? What?
And have you've always been based in Philly yourself, or in that area?
I've been here since 2004. I've lived all over my life, but I got started in Columbus, Ohio, as far as like really DJing drum and bass, and that was like, this was 96, 97. Actually, I worked at a clothing store, and Jack Sheets, one half of Random Movement, when they first started, when they were writing Stars in the Dark, we worked together. We worked at the same. We shared. I actually bought my copy of Warhead off of him because I didn't get my copy from Crust in the mail. I had a gig that weekend, and I was like, "Dude, I'll give you $20 plus I'll give you my copy when it gets in next week," because it didn't come in the post. It was like it was the first basis. I was like, "Oh, I need to drop that this weekend," and it just came. He got his, and mine was coming on Monday.
It's funny how it all interlinks, eh? You meet these people, you're like, "Oh, that's fucking, whoever." Cool.
Yeah, and then from there I went to Pittsburgh and was there. And I got there right at the end of the Steel City Jungle days with Diesel Boy and Sign, Nikki Bulletproof in Alaska, and then we started doing some new stuff there. And then actually Andy and Damien moved to Philadelphia from Pittsburgh to come out, and then they started doing Platinum out here. The big tour destination spot in the U.S. was Platinum for sure for years. Big up James Intrinsic. So yeah, there's always been a culture of it here.
And like in say 96 when you started, were you into jungle then, or were you into hardcore? Were you like?
It was more. I came into it. I had heard it earlier on, so I came in at I will say, it's like it's no secret I'm an elder statesman in the age department. So when I was going to clubs, this was like when NASA in New York was going off, like 92, 93, 94. So it was a lot of like ravey, hardcore-y, like the first song I ever heard that was, I mean, I still consider it jungle, even though it's probably technically hardcore, but was Mr. Kirk's Nightmare by For Hero on Reinforced. And I just heard that and was like, oh, this is cool. I mean, I was already going to parties and warehouse parties and, acid house events, just like electronic music. But then I heard that and was like, break beats? Okay. And then it's literally been, 26 years later.
It's fucking, it definitely grips. It's much more. I don't know. Well, you can probably relate to it as well. But for me, it's like I listened to a bunch of music when I was growing up, and like I experimented with a bunch of parties and drugs and whatever. But it was just something about like a fucking 174 crispy crunchy breakbeat and this like big bass or big sub on a rig that just like still to this day like nothing's done it. Like I've gotten some amazing experiences with like big techno music or different stuff like that, but like the level of resonance, nothing even came close to like when I heard like a big and I was just like, God, this is like the most amazing music. And then from there I went into liquid. I started with kind of neuro sounds and used to love dubstep, like really fucking. And then kind of as it got Belgium-y and Americanized, obviously I fell a bit out of love. And drum and bass, obviously, it was like Opto BTK audio was putting out all this like crazy fucking. I guess it's neurofunk. Neurofunk's kind of different these days, but yeah, got me started, man.
It's weird. I can't remember if I was talking to my last one. I was talking with Tony from Seminole Sounds because if it was in the interview or not. But I always, when I try to explain it to my fiance, I always just say, I heard it, and it just made sense.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know why. I don't know what it is about a sped up soul record or a funk record, or I don't know. I don't claim to know. I'm not that smart, but I can hear it and it makes sense. I can hear the breaks and it makes sense.
Yeah,
it makes like no matter what. Like I can say this is an angry song, or it doesn't even have to be.
It's almost. I think it's almost like beyond the logical thing, like and you're constantly trying to process it as a logical thing. You're like, why do I love this? Why is this my taste? Why is this like tickle? Why when I put a liquid tune on do I just feel some weird bliss, even no matter what else is going on.
Sure.
And like when I listen to a ska punk record that I love and grew up with or whatever, yeah, I love it. It's great. It's fucking the nostalgia. Everyone's lovely, it's beautiful music, whatever. Or if I listen to a normal punk record or a dubstep record, for instance, because like dubstep was a really big pivotal thing to get me into drum and bass in the first place. But it feels amazing and I love it, but it just doesn't give you that, like, I don't know. It's not, I know what you mean. I think it's unexplainable. I think we're trying to quantify it in a logical and like real world sense, but it doesn't even exist. You know what I mean? It's like,
and, I don't even know if I'd want to know the reason.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I don't
exactly.
I like the magic.
Like, you're thinking about it too much.
I can't help it. It's like that's what we do. Like
yeah, exactly, bro.
Just thinking about it, but it's.
And
I know it's cliche, but it's like people say, I didn't choose being a writer, or it chose me.
No, but it's true, bro. Like, I get that as well. Like, I often think to myself, I just wish I just fucking liked house music or techno or some shit, or like, making hip hop beats or something. I wish. But I don't have a choice, I just love this, and I don't know why. It's sometimes obviously I'm joking, but like I do just wish I liked straight beats and I could just get produce a catchy enough record and like have great fun with like way more people. It's like in Ireland contemporary music or like 4/4 hip hop is much more popular. Like drum and bass is like this fucking. It's like the bastard niche of the bastard niches. You know what I mean? It's like
it really is.
Like psytrance shits all over drum and bass. Like
and then you get into fucking halftime, and it's like, oh,
yeah,
micro.
You can keep going, bro, until you just get to like fucking drone or something.
Exactly.
You're like, yeah, well, I'm in a niche within a niche within a niche within a niche.
It's like that fucking. What was the movie with where they go into the dreams?
Inception.
It's what it is.
Yeah,
I'm really asleep at a house party. Oh, wait a minute.
There you go.
Exactly. Like, fall out of this interview. I do a fucking tub of house.
I just had a dream about a label, man. It was crazy. But yeah,
what was as a label owner? What was the first record you bought on, and what label was it on?
Bro, you are fucking joking me. You get me? Look at that. What was the first record you bought? That's what I was just about to ask you, like right there.
See, we're
That's
connected.
one of my favorite questions.
That's
the first
crazy.
one I bought, I'm not a big vinyl fiend, so I only got into vinyl really recently.
Okay.
I have a nice little collection there now, but it's just mainly supporting my friends' releases or supporting random things. But the first single I would have played a bunch of was Britney Spears' "Hit Me Baby One More Time," but the first one that I bought specifically myself was Michael Jackson You Rock My World. You know, you rock my world.
Sure. Sure.
And then Shaggy, It Wasn't Me. That was like they were like I can't remember which one chronologically came first. Like
sure.
I know they were the first ones that I like had my money, you know, and I was like, I'm buying this motherfucker.
That's the foundation.
Yeah, but the first stuff that I would have like really was before after that then I would have got into music. You know, that was obviously just pop music that I liked. Like my mum isn't like crazy creative or musical or anything, so my house was never mad musical. It was never anything like, it wasn't very artistic or anything like that. So it was me kind of who got into music. My brother, he actually lived in Atlanta at the time, and I went over to him, and yeah, that just blew my mind, man. You know, it was like I was in Atlanta, I went to Little Five, I was in the States at the time, and then I just got crazy into like East Bay punk rock, you know, like crazy.
How long were you in Atlanta?
I was there like, so I would have went there for like 2-3 months, multiple times, like for summers and stuff. So like I like, you know, I got to kind of experience living there for like a month at a time here. And like one time I went there, and then we moved to Miami, moved to Naples, and like, you know, stayed a couple along the way.
So I can put this in context that you probably will understand. The first place that I ever heard Mr. Kirk's Nightmare by Four Hero, sorry, my phone is ringing, was at Masquerade, the club Masquerade on North Avenue. In the basement, I think DB or Darrow was playing it. But I first heard it in Atlanta when I lived there.
Oh, yeah, huh? So where would that be? Because I'm not like crazy from it. Obviously I was young as well. I always remember the Junkman's Daughter. It's like an old store, and the Vortex.
That was one of my biggest accounts at work.
Yeah, bro. And the Vortex, you know, like the big fucking burger house with the.
Was that had the guy's face on it and it was like curly?
So sick, man. Like, and you know, when you're young, you're from Ireland, especially. Like, we're not a very novel society. Like, only recently did we start. Would that be like, you know, would anyone even think of doing something cool like that? You know, we're not very artistic. Well, we are artistic, but we're not novel like that. Like, we don't do cool little, you know, theme parky shit much or anything. You know, so. To go to a restaurant that was the front of the fucking building was like a skull with like, you know, trippy eyes. You're just like, what the fuck is this, man? Even the Junkman's Daughter, you know, they had like that really
big shoe,
massive airbrush piece. It was like fucking 2 40-foot truck long airbrush. It was amazing, you know.
And they had the shoe department where you walk up the heel to get to the second floor where the shoes are at.
But they were great, load of like bonded shit everywhere. Like, imagine me, I was only a kid, you know, and like my brother was obviously gonna bring me in. Yeah, he was trying to fucking, you know, like destroy my head. You know, he was trying really hard to just be like, no, you're not gonna be just like fucking in Ireland playing football and like, you know, being one of these fucking drug dealers in your town or whatever. Like, you know, he was really trying to like open my eyes to like the world.
There's so much out there.
Totally, yeah, you know, and then like I'm like really impressionable. Like 4 months later, I had like, you know, plaids and fucking bullet belts and like a 4.5 high mohawk, leather jacket. You know, it's like, and I was just like, fuck you. And then that's actually.
How much older is your brother?
Upstep, but yeah. He's quite a bit older than me, so he's like we got different fathers, so he's like a half dad. But I got 2 brothers, both of them in the States. One of them's in Florida, one of them's in LA at the minute. Both of them lived in Atlanta at the time. What age are they? I don't know. They're like, you know, he's fuck. I don't want to like piss him off if he watches this, but he's like 40.
So he was older living there, and you were visiting him as like a
he's old compared to me anyway. For my brother, he's old. Yeah, like he's but at the time he was like, you know, 30 or whatever. He's still a young guy. You know, so.
Okay. So I wasn't sure. Just trying to get like the context of.
Yeah. So he's about 40, and I was like, you know, so he's like 15, 17 years older than me, 16. I don't know. And my other brother like 11 years older than me. So my other brother's quite close, but like culturally, we'd be much like naturally or whatever, we'd be quite different personalities. So whereas my other brother, we'd be quite close personalities or whatever. So I get on with my other brother better because I'm too fucking. Me and this other brother are too stubborn, you know. So we're all tight now, but. I had some crazy fights with them. I used to box, you know.
That was gonna be one of the questions I was gonna ask you. Are you still? Whatever happened to that? Like how did you go? How was that
good, bro? It was good. It was good, but it was never like exceptional, or it was never you know, it's never gonna bring home an Olympic gold or anything like that. But obviously, I thought I did. Fuck, I fully believed I did. You know, like when I was like 17, 18, I was like, oh, bro, I'm the best ever. But you have to, you know, if you're doing a competitive sport like that, it's, you know, it's not like, yeah, it's a solo sport. It is a sport. I think it's important to say that it is a sport, amateur boxing, because I don't like freak people out. But like on the real, it's violence. You know, you're trying to fucking hurt each other. You're trying to knock this dude out. You know,
gladiatorship.
Dramatic. It's rough on your head. Psychologically, it's like extremely intense compared to like even rugby or football. Like, it's, you know, you're cutting weight. You're missing so much in your life. You know, there's no ski trips. There's no school trips. You're missing half the dances, prom, stuff like this. Like, you don't. You know, that's not on the table if you're trying to get to a certain level. But yeah, like I said, I was trying to get to that certain level, but in reality, physically and whatever else, there's no possible way I was going to be a high performing adult. So slaughtered a load of people in the youth, done really well, you know, got to go internationally, got some really nice accolades, etc., etc. And then as soon as I turned 17, and you fight 17 to 35-year-old, so like as soon as you're 17, yeah, and I was quite underdeveloped, you know. I was very technical and very sharp and a really good boxer, but like, it doesn't really matter if you're going in against a fully grown man who's 64 kilos, and he's like 5 inches shorter than me, you know, but he's just like
solid
fucking man, you know what I mean, who's been fighting for fucking, you know, more time than I've almost been alive and stuff like that. And then, you know, and also I was in a club with an Olympian, you know, so John Nevin was my teammate. He was an Olympic silver medalist, extremely high quality fighter. So, you know, there was always a clear gap between my, you know, when it's very rare that I get the better of him. And then I kind of realized he was a bit lower weight than me. And you know yourself, you start to realize as you get older, you're like, you become more self-aware. I just kind of realized, I was like, oh, I don't know if I have like what it takes to really go. And then once you think that, you're done. You know what I mean? Once that thought comes into your mind as a fighter, just stop. You know what I mean? I didn't. Kept going for another like year, so I actually done really well. But I didn't win. I've done really well against extremely high quality competition, people who are like 30-0 now, you know, and 21-1, and I was nearly beating them, and they were like quite a bit older than me, mature, more experienced. So I actually, in hindsight, I done really, really fucking well. And then for some reason, I just, you know, I was like vexed that I lost. And yeah, but at the same time, I was getting into music as all this happened, so it really just was just a natural thing that happened. And then obviously hit 17. I didn't even really drink until I was 15. Started drinking at 15, smoking at 16, partying at 17. And I'm quite an extreme person. If you haven't, you've probably already noticed. So I didn't just fucking party, you know. I was like partying for fucking 3 weeks straight, and like just DJing for having like 24, 48-hour DJ sessions and stuff. And that's how. And I know it sounds crazy when I say it publicly, because I know it's a really familiar story to a lot of people in drum and bass.
100%, man.
Harder niche genres, or any music, anyone who's into DJing, you know, I'm sure everyone has that story. Dude, he was fucking playing that.
It's everywhere. It's all around.
Hours, bro, you know, he was just up there fucking, you know yourself. So that happened, and that's when I started getting into the raves, getting into party, and actually holding parties. And we kind of done like parties. They weren't, I wouldn't call them free parties, but like technically that's what they were. It's only like 60, 70 people. Okay. But you know, we just like throw the rig up, have a side party, have a free party, and that's kind of how it started progressing then into.
How easy was that to do?
Horrible. Never do it. And if anyone from Ireland is watching, like I even talking to a promoter last night who was talking about don't do it. Don't waste your time. Like, there's really good mini festivals. Fwynn was there, Hotbox was there, Townland was there. Go to them. You know what I mean? They're doing it properly. They're doing it legit. The insurance is there. Sure. There's no problem with the police. It's the exact same fucking thing, except better. You know, there's food. You can get warm. There's health and safety. There's everyone that needs to be fucking there. What we were doing was really fucking cool, but it was also, really fucking dumb and really dangerous. And you know how ain't nothing seriously bad. Some bad stuff happened, but how something really life-changingly bad for anyone didn't happen over the 3-4 years, I don't fucking know, man. like one of my mates ended up in a fucking freezing cold river in like the middle of the winter in Ireland. Like, he nearly fucking died just because like we were young and stupid. Like, you know, like just something simple. Like, I went down to Clacton at this crazy rave spot. We were at the hill. Everyone jumped in the car. There wasn't room for him. It's like 2 seconds walk. You can see the gate. You know what I mean? So I was like, yo, it's up there, bro. I'll see you up there in a minute. And then like 20 minutes later, we were like, where the fuck's that? Dude, the fucking police turn up. Yeah, I'm there like DJing, you know, and this like room full of like underage kids partying hard as fuck. You know, like some of them really like young and shit, and like we're all like going crazy. Yeah. And the fucking police pull up, you know, like so the barn door opens, like a barn, and all this like, and a fucking Irish policeman just sticks the head in, you know, and everyone's like smoking joints and like chilling. I remember I just turned the music down for a second. I looked at him and was like, I didn't know what to fucking do. I just went, turn the music back up, and he just like went back out, closed the door, and they went off. I was like, oh my god, thank God. Because basically what happened, he ended up in a fucking river, got out of the river, luckily, thank God, got out. It was only like very shallow, don't get me wrong.
Sure.
But still, it wasn't the water that was the problem, it was the heat. You know, he was freezing cold, covered in icy water. Like, dude, he could have died, man. On drugs, you know, on like a lot of pills and stuff, I think. I don't know what. I don't take many drugs anymore, so I'm very open to talking about this, whatever. I like sharing the experiences, but to try and say don't fucking do it as well. Like, you know what I mean? Like so many people, I think raving in a cold country in the winter is just stupid. Just don't fucking do it because
raving in the cold.
You can't be responsible for 200 people when they're out having a good time and when there's dangers like cold or fucking no food or whatever. You know, just don't fucking do it.
That's the public service announcement for the day.
But it was really, really tough, man, and I'd never do it again, like under any circumstance. I want to get a sound system together so I can do private parties, but I mean, like, it's literally like my friend, like, there could be 40 of us. I'd rather do a safe party with 40 people than blow some shit up and piss some people off, doing a 200, 300 people party. And I don't think I even could anymore, you know. I don't think I'd have the resilience or the fucking head.
It's a lot of work.
Dude, it's hard, man. Like, people in the UK, it's a lot different, obviously, like, but still, even in the UK, everywhere in France, especially in France and the UK now, it's getting really difficult, and they're really cranking down on the systems and the free parties. And because there's a lot of dickheads, to be fair, let's be real, there's a lot of asshole sound systems and crews going out there fucking it up for the people who are actually doing it right and free partying the way it's supposed to be done. So now the police are all up on everyone's fucking arse. The scene's kind of dying out a bit. But in Ireland, it's not like that. Like, in Ireland, if you have 200, 300 people, they won't kind of like leave you and make sure that, you know, there's no trouble. They literally come in, they'll be like, get the fuck out of here, you know, and start searching everyone. And like, they don't like fucking, if it's not legal, you get shut down in Ireland. Another big problem, I actually wanted to bring it up on this, if you don't mind me kind of ranting.
No, go for it.
We have a club licensing law in Ireland. I don't know if you're aware of this.
I saw you and Paul post about it, but I didn't have context for it.
Yeah, so the context of that would be that all clubs in Ireland have to close at 3 a.m. And like, it doesn't really matter what kind of club it is, or if it's like, you know, bar, club, nightclub, whatever, everything has to be closed at 3 a.m. That's like the latest license any premises can get. And like, even like private events, you can't do anything like that in Ireland. You know, you can't get away with 100 people in, like, say, an art studio or something. You can't even do that here. You know, they don't, and they'll break up, even if it's a very small thing. Again, obviously, look, I'm saying this now, and there's probably 20 people that are like, hang on, we had a 100-person party. You know what I mean? Obviously, it happens, but you know what I mean? You can't plan to do it. It's not safe. The amount of after parties I've been at that people have paid €10 and then it gets shut down 2 hours later. You know what I mean? But yeah, basically, we've just got this archaic law. Everyone shuts at 3. We've been trying to change it. There's this big movement called Give Us the Night that's actually been around for a really, really long time, but it didn't get much traction. Well, it did, and then it kind of died out. And now it's come back up again. I don't know. I'm not familiar as to why organisers are moved back in the country or just giving a shit again or something. But it's really gaining traction again, and like, we're all behind it. Like, every fucking promoter that I know is like, you know, fully behind it. I was even trying to make it out to all the fucking meetings when I live like 3-4 hours away, you know, just because it's like, it's a silly little thing, but it does mean a lot, I think, and it has a huge impact on the scene as a whole, and especially with more niche genres like, you know, rap, punk rock, fucking even indie, anything, like, you know, anything that needs a scene and a community. It's like, people don't want to come out to the event and go home at 3 o'clock in the morning, you know. The producers all want to hang out together, and they want to chat, and they want to, you know, have a mix in some fucking house, or some people want to stay in the club and fucking party till 5 or 6, you know. It's like, the fact that you're being told, no, you got to go get out of here now at 3, it's like, you feel like you're being told, you know. It's just, especially like another thing, a point that I often say to people, because a lot of Irish people like house and techno, so, you know, house and techno night, a lot of people come 4 o'clock, they're just like, oh, I'm ready to go home, you know, it's great. come 3 o'clock in the drum and bass night, everyone's just fucking peaking, bro. Everyone's just starting to get into it. The shit's just starting to pop off.
Yep.
Obviously, some people are done ready, but like, a huge chunk of that crowd is really ready to go. At least
that's how that culture was built.
And it's like, it just kills the buzz, man. It kills the vibe, and I think it really has much bigger impacts than just, we have a shorter lineup, everyone has to go home early. It actually impacts the scene at a deeper level, because you're missing that after party vibe. You're missing that community where you're all like coming together and hanging out.
Yep.
Like the younger kids or older whoever are getting like fucked up together as well, or maybe these straight edge guys are having a deep fucking conversation about production technique for fucking 4 hours in the corner or whatever. And you're missing that. You're not getting. There's none of that here. Whereas in the UK, you go to Bristol, man, guaranteed you'll be sitting next to some probably famous ass fucking producer waffling the ears off him at like 9 o'clock the next morning about how to fucking compress a fucking, I don't know, snare, do a fucking EQ a snare or something stupid, like, I don't know. It's just,
I gotta say, when I see like lineups here from like, because like we were saying earlier, everyone being so connected, when I see it, I'm like, wait a minute, does that say Randall 7 to 9 a.m.?
Yeah.
And he's just like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
And you'll fucking level the place at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, totally. It's crazy.
And I'm like, Doc Scott's playing 6 to 8?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, bro. Like in Bristol, man, like even the first time I played in Bristol, it was on in Intrinsics night, big up Intrinsics. And I played after QZB. And it was QZB just after they brought out the fucking release on Critical. And I was like green as fuck. Like my DJing wasn't even good at an Irish level. You know what I mean? Never mind like a fucking Bristol level. And geez, like fucking shot me. So there was a load of bullshit. But me and Sam were supposed to back to back. He fucking passed hours. Like, it was crazy, man. It took him like 20 minutes to get over. So I was like, shaking. And it's when I met Charlie Brick for the first time. Didn't even know who she was. This random girl came up and like resussed me, basically refreshed me, got me in a good. She was like, "You're fucking here for a she really like gave me a little prep talk, And I actually ended up meeting her again and getting over. She's really fucking. She's a solid, really nice girl. But that got me straight. Went QZB ran over a little bit, and I didn't want to say anything, so I let him. But like he was going hard. Like it was one of them, not the two of them. He was going hard, man. He was like. Like it was like one of the fattest sets I'd heard to that point, and I was like, oh.
And then you have to follow it up.
I mean, yeah, it's just like, I will say, it made me realize, wow, like a real appreciative crowd like Bristol or something, man. You go there, and everyone in that crowd was like, yes, like they could see, I think they could feel that I was shitting it, or like it was like they could almost sense that I was like, oh god, and everyone got behind the set, everyone's free, and this is like 6 to 7 in the morning. You know what I mean? And I'm used to clubs closing at 3, so I was just like, this is mad. I've only ever seen this at a rave. And at a rave at 7 a.m., there's like 4 people on the dance floor, and everyone else is just like, like doing whatever. But it was amazing. It was really cool to see like people just loving drum and bass. And like some of them people have been on that dance floor since 9 p.m. You know what I mean? And they weren't like drugged out or nothing like that. Like obviously, they were probably, taking stimulants or whatever, but no one was like, it was just like, all about the music and like it was an eye opener anyway. So big up in Tindrix and flex out Tom, QVB, Charlie especially, because that was a pivotal moment.
There's nothing like a club with an educated crowd. I've always said I'd rather play 20, 30, 40 people that are having it than 500 people who don't give a fuck.
Totally. Like
playing 500 people, sure, but if it's between people who don't,
it makes a difference if you do feed off them, man. You know what I mean? It's like I know it's the first time I felt that was Alex SLK as well. Alex, I went out to play with him out in Latvia, and I didn't know what to expect. I had never really been anywhere other than the UK and Ireland, which is kind of similar. It's similar enough vibe. I think Irish people take themselves a bit more seriously, but like it's a similar vibe in the dance or whatever. But over there, holy shit, it's like. It's a different world, and like it's a different, like their economy maybe isn't as strong as our economy and stuff like that, and like people just like when they go out to dance, they go out to fucking dance, man. Like they're going out to get loose. They're going out to fucking to rave, bro. They're not playing around. you know, kind of way. Like in an Irish crowd, everyone's just kind of like, they're almost self-conscious or nervous or something, you know. In fucking Riga, everyone's just like, you know what I mean? And like, it was a real eye-opener to me, man, you know, because I was like, wow, this is like the feeling you get to playing to people like that when you're like, you drop a tune and you get this response out. It could be 20, 30 people that you can see at the front, but they're like loving it, and it makes you realize, like, wow, fuck, there's, there's people like me out there, but you know what I mean? Like,
and
I know it's cool to see that.
And if they don't have the same club culture, if they don't have the same producer label culture that kind of has that weird hamster wheel of the community,
exactly.
It's like they're so ready for it.
Yeah, exactly.
You only listen to Spotify so much. You only listen to Soundcloud so much, even if you have like fucking all days headphones. But who the fuck can afford that? You know.
Yeah, exactly.
And then when you get, and like you're saying, in front of a rig, and you don't have that in a club that you can go to weekly or bi-weekly or monthly, and then some dudes like you guys come over, of course they're just gonna go, fuck yeah.
Yeah, it's literally like profound, bro. But again, even as a DJ or as wannabe future tastemaker or whatever, just to see that, to see like, wow, people can have such a real genuine reaction to the music, and like no one gave a fuck what they look like or what they're doing. No one was thinking, oh, I'm Mr. Cool, or I'm here listening to this cool music. Everyone was just fucking living in it, and it really made me reevaluate a lot. Like, it changed like a lot of stuff for me. That both of them were really pivotal moments anyway to the development of probably the label as well, but definitely as me as a person and as an artist, I guess, in a sense. I don't really consider myself an artist just yet, but you know what I mean. Okay. Yeah, it was like I was like, wow, it's like, I don't know, just to feel that raw emotion off the crowd is something I never experienced before. It was always kind of playing to people I knew and had some pretense, or I knew that some people were there judging me, or some people were gonna hype me whether I was good or not, or I knew, you know what I mean. There's always peripherals, but like, I was in this foreign country, no one knew who the fuck I was, and these guys and girls were all just going ham for a whole hour, and it was amazing. It made me kind of realize the power of music and drum and bass. And I was like, I want to fucking do this, man. Like, we can bring this to Ireland. I want to see an Irish dance floor like this.
So did you find it a liberating experience then?
Totally. It's probably one of the most liberating moments in my life, because up until that point, I would have had a lot of I would have been very self-conscious and always worried about, especially for some reason, what people in Ireland think of me, always worried about, oh yeah, they just think I'm just some drum and bass is stupid or something, whatever. But that all just kind of went away from that day, and everyone's just been way better since then. I've had ups and downs with drum and bass and music and everything since, but that was the first thing where I was like, oh. I suppose, like we were talking earlier, it made me realize that there's more to this than just getting a free holiday to some country to play tunes.
Sure.
This meant something to, even if it was only 2 people in that club, and me, that them 3 people, something that night, that music really released a bunch of stress, or actually had a positive impact on their fucking week. Not just that moment in time when I was like, oh shit, this actually is amazing. And then I looked back to that Flex Out night, and I was like, that moment, fuck, that was the whole night was just amazing to me. I'll never forget it. And then it's imagine in 10 or 12 or 15 or 20 years, if I could put on a night that gave one person that experience. So I guess that is probably where the thought process kind of came, oh shit, is this something that me and my friends could someday do? You know what I mean? Or replicate that feeling.
There's something liberating about and the freedom of going someplace as an artist or performer or DJ, whatever people want to use, when you can just say, this is my time to show a mix of what I want you to hear, what I feel is important, what I want to say, but tell it to you in a way that you react so that you can have your experience as a listener. Because I know you're coming to, at the end of the day, it's not just, I'm here as, I've got all these songs out and I play them, and you are here to see that. But at the end of the day, you have to think about, no, you're just the vehicle for them to have that experience on as a listener. It's not a one-way communication. But when you have that freedom of not knowing, not your boy is just like, yeah, when you're just like, that was a little iffy. Because we all have iffy moments. People pretend like they don't, but we fucking do. But when you just can play the songs that you want to play, that you're feeling, you can take them on that journey and give them what they're looking for. And even if it's like you were saying, that's why it only takes one person in the crowd or two people. Because I'm giving to them what they need. That's why they're there. The one person on the dance floor that's going crazy, because they understand the same language that I speak. Exactly. I'm able to speak to them. So it's like we're having this dialogue in a language that is ones and zeros, and in different hertz. But it's the same conversation. Like I'm telling you, I had a great week. You know, my kid is doing great, but I was really mad. And so fucking listen to this. You know, like you can tell.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
How they hear it. You know, like
I think you harped on something really important there as well. Is I think to really grow as a DJ or as an artist, and especially as if you want to be like a label head or tastemaker or whatever you want to call it, is like you have to understand that like you're there to stay integral to like you and your art and what you want to do and what you perceive as like ALTEX or Boey or BMA whatever. But also that your job is to make other people happy and make other people dance and like. And I just to tie in the previous thing was that Riga night was the night I realized that, you know, because then people were going crazy to that set, like I was saying. But like some of the tunes I was playing were a bit iffy, like you were saying, you know, like I was playing tunes and they were like, oh, this is kind of not what we really like, you know, like, and I was like, oh, this is cool fucking British shit, you know, everyone's gonna love it. Sure. And I kind of realized, oh, hang on, it's not what I think is cool all the time as well, you know, like I have to love it and I think it's cool to get into it and play it. But like I still have to resonate with everyone else as well in a way, or tie into the bigger picture of the mix or whatever. You know, like you said there, I think that's a really important thing that a lot of DJs are missing. That exact thing you said is like that click of like, oh, hang on, it is about me. I am here, and obviously my name's on the poster. There's people here to see me, but in reality, it's about me focusing on you for an hour in a sense. You know, through expressing myself as well on the side, but like in reality. I'm getting, like, especially, I think the shift happened with me when I started getting paid bookings, you know, because obviously I was kind of like, oh, hang on, I can't just like show up and have 50 tunes on a USB now and just go, woo, look at me, I'm ALTEX, you know, I have to, like, this guy's giving me €100 or 150 euros, whatever, to find me to a different fucking country, like, you know, I need to spend 10, 12 hours now, you know, putting this track list together, mixing this track, looking at what the local DJs play, looking at what the local artists are like, looking at pictures from the crowd, looking at videos from the crowd, seeing what dubs are getting shared on the event page, stuff like that, you know, to give you some comprehension of what you're getting into, because it's not about you all the time at the end of the day. I think you probably fire ahead, sorry.
No, I was gonna say you're just one part of the equation.
Exactly, and you probably got this as well, as when you go see a headliner and they just like can a set that they want to play, which is like great, and everyone's like super happy, and it is good. But you know yourself, when you see a guy who might be the co-head, and he plays a set that's like really cool and really represents him and what he does, but then out of nowhere they just go into this thing that just clicks and resonates with like your crew or your, you know, the style you like, or like the label that he's playing for, the event that he's playing for. I think that's like a real talent. Like that's taking shit to the next level. Do you know what I mean? Is like when, say like Culprit. Are you familiar with Culprit? He's like a 140. I'll send you some tunes after. Anyway, he's a really, really like well-respected producer, artist on the scene. But he's also a huge bass artist. You know, he also makes some fucking dirt. He's like, you know, he's like a quiet version of Skrillex or something. I don't know how to put it. A more like melodic version of Skrillex or something. He's really cool guy, down to earth, legend. But yeah, he fucking came to Ireland, and he you know, you expect him to come and play his new album, play his new shit, play all, you know, 2008 tunes, whatever, 2018 tunes. And he did for like 20 minutes. And then he just went into this like 2012, you know, Moomba, dubstep, fucking, you know, crazy set, which like, man, for the crowd he played that in was like such a home run. It was like how he could have, like, it was unbelievable how he got the nail on the head like that, you know. And that was another pivotal moment with me as an artist, as an audience, in the audience, being like, oh, whoa, this guy, you know, it was amazing to watch, you know, his ability to read the crowd was just like something I'd never seen before, you know. I never really thought about it, I guess, to a deeper level. It's like, you know, there's no way he just arrived and done that, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like,
One of the things I always said in professional life outside of music and within music itself is, customer service and success starts before you leave your house.
Yeah, totally.
And you hit it right on the head that so many people, well, I'd just say there's a fair amount of people who just love music and are like, I just want to play. I don't, and some people are like, oh, I'm the opening act, so I'm going to play and realize where I'm at. And some people are like, I'm going to play fucking Gabber at 7 o'clock at night, just because, hey, they booked me, which I get.
Yeah.
There's a certain art to understanding where you're going. It's just like a chef. If a chef goes to a different city he's going to do a farm local thing, you have to look up what the ingredients are. If you're playing for a promoter and their last 3 artists that they've booked have been this, this, and this, then obviously there's some sort of culture there that's a dialect they speak.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you put a couple of those in your bag just in case, because there's so many songs that can take you to different levels, and then if you see that hits, you have to, but I think that it gets back to, you have to get outside of yourself. You have to get yourself to have that. And I had a guy who told me once when I was coming up, he was like, and I was, the local guy, always still playing for free, still trying to get my name out there. And he was going to the show and he's like, hey, I want you to come with me. I want to introduce you to some people. It's like 2 hours away. He's a couple of different promoters. Just come with me. I'm like, all right, cool. And he told me on the way there, he was like, one thing to keep in mind. You think this is cool because someone paid you $100 to do it. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, that's going to be pretty cool. And he's like, but think about the person who chose to spend $15 to see it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah.
At that moment, it's like, you love this so much, you'll take other people's money from it. Yeah. But what about the guy who's like, I love this so much, I'll give you my money just so you'll play it for me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it's a really important realization to have as a DJ. Personally, I think so. Yeah, that's powerful, man. That's a powerful way of putting it, huh? I'm gonna have to steal that.
Yeah. When you get to a certain point, when you go to see a band, you know what you're gonna hear. You do go to see. You don't necessarily go to see the opening act, but you appreciate if it's good. But you go to see that act, and you earn the right to play your set at a certain point.
Yeah, totally, exactly.
But I hate to tell you, just because you spent $200 on Beatport,
doesn't mean shit.
Top 150.
Exactly. Yeah.
That entitles a credit card bill.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one, bro. It's weird because I really think it's like you're saying, it's like you need to understand that you're getting paid to do a job as well. It's not like he's paying you to come and be the fucking man for an hour. I just think it's supernatural to just think that the first time you get paid, you're just like, oh, this is sick. I'm getting fucking.
Sure. It's a great feeling, man.
I'm gonna get drinks. It's gonna be deadly. And then you do it a few times, then you realize, oh, okay, there's some guy getting 800 quid on the fucking lineup. You know what I mean? It's just you kind of realize it puts it into comprehension, and you're like, oh, hang on, I'm getting 20, 30 odd people to go to some gig or whatever, and you're only getting a chunk of that, and you kind of realize how it all works a bit more. And you understand that you're a cog in this big machine. Just like we were saying, it's you understand you're there to do a job for other people, like the headliner, the promoter, as well as the people in the crowd, whatever. But I think the first time you get paid, bro, you feel like a baller, man. You're just like, oh shit, man, I'm getting paid to DJ now. Fuck yeah.
It's all $5 bills.
Yeah, literally.
$5, and you're like, yeah.
The first time I got paid, it wasn't even from my set. It was my friend's set, and she had a family member pass away, her grandmother, and she couldn't practice too much, and she was really nervous. It was her first big set, and it was with a crew that I was I really loved. And she was like, "Oh, do you want to come do it with me?" And the guy actually is kind of like a mentor to me now. He ended up getting me really into drum and bass, and but I remember him handing me. He went to handle me 100 quid, €100, which is way too much in Ireland for drum and bass. And I was I knew he meant for the both of us, for me, but she was mixing. I was like, oh yeah, Sam, I'll give it to her. But he couldn't hear me, so I went to take the 250s, and he was just gave me the one that was pure awkward. I was like, oh man. But again, I'll never forget that moment. It was real pivotal because it made me be so many pivotal moments, bro. I feel like I'm going through I don't know, timeline there or something, bro. But it was I was like, oh shit. you know, like the penny drops. You're just like, oh shit, like that. Even though it's not a lot of money, you know, the cost to go to the event and stuff is probably more, but it's like that principle of it, like, you know. So even now I've had gigs where I've sometimes only been able to give like the openers like 20-30 quid, you know, the guy who plays like 11 to whatever. And because by the way, just for clarification, people watching being like, what the fuck, in Ireland, yeah, we get like 100 people at an event. So like, you know, we lose a lot of money every event basically. But yeah, I think that's important. Like a lot of the other promoters don't do that, and I think that is so detrimental to the scene. It's just like, it's not about, like, even if you just buy them a drink while they're playing and give them 20 quid towards their taxi home, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't have a following. It's not like, you know, it's the principle of it. Like, you're not saying, oh, you bring people here so I'm paying you. You're just saying, oh, here's 20 quid because you spent time out of your fucking week practicing this set. I know it's like a quarter of what I should be giving you, but like, here, you know, and that little things like that are really important to like the foundations and building blocks of a scene and like changing mentalities. And like, that's been a big problem in Ireland as well, is like with festivals or with gigs, like people don't even as much as give guys buy the fucking DJ a drink sometimes. You know what I mean? And it's just like, dude, like, you know, it's like promoters that need to get that realization that we had, you know? And like, hey, hold on, you're working for this DJ too. You know, like, you're supposed to make sure that water's there for him. Make sure if we need to drink, make sure, like, even if he's a newcomer, while he's on that for that hour, he's a fucking headliner. You know what I mean? For that hour, he is the fucking man. He's
still the soundtrack to your event.
Exactly, bro, or she, whatever.
Sure.
You know, it's yeah, you know, everyone knows I mean he and she anyway, but like, you know, to be super PC these days or whatever. But yeah, and it's another thing, geez, we could go all day about the whole recent fad and tokenism of women in drum and bass. Like, it's fucking,
dude.
Bro, it's kind of, it's amazing and disgusting at the same time. Like, yeah, it's bizarre to me because I boxed with women, girls at the time, obviously when we were young, all my life, you know. So I've always had like quite a broken gender barrier. Like, I've gotten punched really hard in the face and nearly knocked out by older women before, you know, and stuff. And I've done MMA and strangled women and fought women, and, you know, trained with them side by side for years in camps and whatever. I know, as far as I'm concerned, you know, obviously I know physically we're different or whatever, but like, you know, I've never had much of a weird separation of genders in terms of
you can still kick ass.
Yeah, I mean, all these girls were winning more medals than I was winning, you know what I mean? So like, why the fuck couldn't they make drum and bass get fat? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's still hard.
But like, I just think it's a stupid. The tokenism of it is so like, it's the attempt to be so positive is just so damaging. You know, this the way they kind of fetishized and fadded this whole like, oh, I have women on my lineup, and it's like, dude, shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? It's like, do you really think that girl wants to be your woman on the lineup? Like, nah, man. She wants to be that artist that she is, or why she's there. Like, she earned her spot on that lineup. And, I just think it's fucking stupid, man. It's really. Anyway, I don't want to get off on some negative bullshit.
That's another 2 hours. That's a whole another 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, what about you? Anyway, man, have you been working on any more projects? I seen you got the TAC audio release coming.
Yeah, that's coming out in a few weeks. I think the June 6th, maybe it's the 16th. Okay. But it's soon.
one of them.
It's soon. I know. I think they're gonna start. I think it's all in mastering this week. I can't remember if the date from the distributor when it's gonna go up. It's either the 6th or the 16th, but soon. That's a full.
Is it a VA?
Yeah. Pish Posh is on it. I'm on it. D-Sir's on it. Intrinsic's on it. Self is on it. And I'm trying to think of Debt is on it. I'm trying to think of who else, but it's just very harsh from the label.
Cool. Yeah, I love TAC audio, and I really like that release from the label head. I can't remember which number on the label it is. I think it came out about a year and a half ago. But Jesus Christ, man, they're heaters, and it's that annoying thing that if they had came out on like Skank and Bass or some other label, people would be going fucking crazy about it, you know? Yeah. Because it's on a small, humble, indie American label or something. It's like, that drives me crazy, that shit. You know, I really think they got some good music on there. There's a couple. I actually did want to ask you as well. I didn't write it down, but American labels, man. Do you know? Like, do you follow much American drum and bass and stuff like that? Like, do you know what's going on right now? Is there an American overview of Boey, or, you know, something that we should be like aware of?
You know what? I'm gonna be as honest but not assholes as I can. Outside of my crew, my people, my family that I mess around with, Tactical Audio out in Arizona, Seminole Sounds out in Wisconsin, and then with you guys, and then with Ben at Ronan, like just to get my little group. I've been trying to just focus on my stuff. And I think part of it's because I'm old, and it's like I only get so much time to focus.
Yeah,
and I want to focus on what I know. It's not a bad thing. I don't really, but
I think it's fucking totally normal, to be honest. I don't think it's something to be too conscious of, anyway. Because it's like what I think we were talking maybe before we recorded, or I think not even, you were talking on your previous interview about like the oversaturation problem.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it kind of ties into that. It's like it's kind of impossible to know what everyone's doing now because every Tom, Dick, and Harry has a label or a project or something that they're pushing. The quality differs or whatever, but there's a lot of stuff out there. There's no possible way for one human or a brain to consume it all.
And there was a time when there was more more DJs than records coming out or available, and now it's just the same. And it's not. I don't dislike anybody. A lot of people like you only promote the labels you're on, and I'm like,
oh yeah, fuck that.
I don't mind pushing other people's stuff if I like it, if it comes across my radar, or if it's like, I really pretty much only pay attention to one or two, maybe three groups online.
That's all you can do. And it's like, I used to think like that too, I'd share, you probably know, I'm really uber supportive on Boey to any brand that I rate. Even if I might even like the dude who runs there, we might have whatever, but if it's good shit, I'm pulling up on Boey, I give it a repost.
Yep.
Share it. I'm not afraid to have a messy SoundCloud with reposts or anything like that, because I believe it needs to be used. I always used to, when I first started doing it, my fucking intentions were so wrong, because I first started doing it and I was like, I'm going to share everyone's stuff and then they'll share my stuff, you know what I mean? And I got this sort of like
percentages about like that big
mentality, and it's just like, come on, bro, shut the fuck up. But then I realized over a while that, like, if you want to share the stuff, you have to share the stuff and do it. And people just don't share shit. Some people don't want reposts on their SoundCloud. That's fine. Some of your artists don't even as much as share any release that they're not a part of. So what? That's like, who cares? What I mean? Like, you might have some shit going on sometime and you're going to miss 10 Tesseract things or, stuff that you usually always use. So what? It's not a big deal, I think, I might not know 20 newcomers on the drum and bass scene, even though I run an Irish drum and bass, fucking group page with a couple of guys. How could, even though there's 5 of us, there's no possible way we're going to know everybody, or know what everyone's at. So I think it's almost totally normal to not. But I was just wondering, basically, because I often see labels and like get into a couple of their tunes and then find out later, that's actually a North American or American label or whatever. I can't even remember the names now, but like there's been a couple of gems that I found. But I really find that like a lot of the stuff goes unnoticed, even if it's quite good quality. I don't know if that's just because it's from America, if it's a promotion-based thing, if it's a networking thing or what. But like you see some heaters from, and not just American labels, I want to say it's even like we were saying Brazilian labels, there's some good South American labels. Crazy amount of Brazilian drum and bass actually. I don't know why. I don't know if you noticed that, but there's a
lot of them.
There must be a crazy scene in Colombia and Brazil, man, because there's so many good producers. There's so, what I mean?
So many. Like it's definitely on my bucket list to just to go check it out. Just the vibes have got to be fucking dope. Hearing that in a club with everybody having drinks and a good time, like it's got to be fun.
I'd love to just go anywhere in South America, bro. Even for like even a package holiday, bro. Just to go out there,
eating some fucking curbside food on a bench, listening to some live music, having a beer, like it's life. That's where we draw from. And I you know what? I'm going to go on 2 streams of the consciousness. One, there's a lot of really good drum and bass in the United States. I just don't necessarily follow it all, just because of time and interest. But like, Al and the guys.
Come on, you got work, you got kids, you got a load of shit, obviously.
Yeah. So it's like but there's like the guys over at Patrol the Skies. Those guys have got dope shit. It's again, I don't personally play a lot of it, but it's like they're doing great stuff. They're supporting artists. They're putting releases out. the guy that does Best Drum and Bass, the website that I used to write for.
Yeah, I follow them a bit.
I mean, Abducted Limited, he has a drum and bass and dubstep label. You know, that dude fucking works. That dude works hard between his own business and his own label. Like, even if it's not the neurofunk and the sound I play, I got nothing but fucking, you know, respect for that dude, because he it's one of the, like we were talking about earlier, it's intent. He just loves this so much that I don't. I post his stuff and download and make sure that his reviews, you know, because again, it's something simple as a like or a repost, but again, it's those algorithms that it means if I can click like on 3 people's pages and 10 more people see it and 1 person buys it.
Yeah. That's the way to look at it. That's exactly the way to look at it, man.
You know, I'm not trying to make this person an internet star. I'm trying to just show a little bit, and maybe someone else can hear his music who wouldn't, because there's more clicks.
Yeah, and it might not, but you're at least, you know, you give. It's like it's one thing that takes 2 seconds, and like I think as well, the more you get into your own artistry and making your own EPs on release, you realize like it does mean a lot. Like, you know, it does mean a lot when you sign on, and you know, you might barely get a chance to talk to people for months, but you just see one little like or one little comment or one little share, and it does mean, you know, it means a lot, I think, to any artist, you know, even no matter how big or small you are. Well, maybe some guys don't give a fuck, I'm sure, but you know what I mean. For me,
I got no time for them. You know, it's still those little giddy little things that.
I'm so done with the one thing about running the label. Unfortunately, is that you learn a lot quick. That there's a huge social side to all this. And there unfortunately is people that find, for some reason, attach some form of politics and different stuff to music, and it's horrible, it's silly, and there's a lot of, unfortunately, really egotistical people in the scene, you know. I just tend to avoid all of it now, and no interest in clout, I've no interest in views, or no interest in bullshit. I just want to literally sell music and make my artists, give them a genuine platform now, not just a free label, a real springboard now, you know.
I think that there comes a point where another, I guess, a turning point was when I realized in life, let alone in music, the pups.
Yeah.
My success.
You can probably hear I got a snoring one. But go on, sorry, what are you saying?
You're there. I was just gonna say, I think there comes a point where you realize my success does not come at the cost of somebody else's. Yeah. Their success does not come at the cost of mine. I'm not losing one more person listening to one of my DJ sets or a release because I had them play somebody else's. And we all need these other labels, even if they're on a different end of the spectrum or different sounds. Because when you have that culture, it is a closed system. So if one of us is doing good, eventually the others are going to be good, and vice versa. You know, and plus, why the fuck not? It's fucking drama.
Yeah, exactly. And it's art at the end of the day. You know, it's for 90% of people, or maybe even 95% of people, even label heads in drum and bass, whether they realize it or not, this is a hobby. You know, and this is something that has to be fun, and it has to be engaging, and it has to be a positive thing. You know, it shouldn't be stressful. It shouldn't be competitive. It shouldn't be nasty, or it shouldn't be like, I don't understand. For me personally, they don't exist in the same space, them sort of things. You know what I mean? So when people kind of try and bring them together, it just, I mean, like I'm friends with a bunch of people that are, you know, into that sort of vibe, and like I'm totally cool with them or whatever. I do your thing, man. But like, it's just not for me. You know what I mean? I'm not into the whole like. I kind of like subliminally ended up going that route, like personally, for like a couple months, and it literally drained me. I was like, I just didn't like the person I was becoming, the way I was going, the outlook I had on everything, you know, on music, it was just horrible, you know. I was just like, this isn't what I want to be.
Doesn't feel good.
Ironically, stuff goes well when you're like that, but you know, I just wanted to figure another way, man, because it's not my path anyway.
Yeah, there's no right.
Probably the same in the States, man. You know, you get egos everywhere, right? You know,
I mean, just America in general, but that's just given to you at birth. That just comes with the ticket. But I have a theory about Brazil, and it kind of resonates for. I was watching Chef in London talking with Daryl Invaders, and they were talking about this dub plate wars that they're doing, just where they get the sample packs. The two, just for fun, the two producers are going head to head.
Yeah.
And I think they were talking about something else, but I think it applies to this. I think the reason why Brazilian drum and bass is so good and so widespread is because their culture isn't all drum and bass.
Yeah, it's other shit.
In the modern 2020 context, there's a lot of people making drum and bass that only listen to drum and bass.
Oh yeah, totally.
That's it.
Totally.
And there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not chastising it. I don't.
Yeah, definitely not. One thing I can still hear you. I'm just letting my dog go out. Come on.
Ouch.
There you go. Sorry, mate. Sorry.
That's okay. Hey, man, dog's gotta go, and the dog's gotta go.
Pro podcast shit, you know. Pro podcast. It's my first podcast ever, so.
No, it's all right. But yeah, they have samba. Like they have like the music and the culture there that is infused with the drum and bass. While it gives it its own subgenre of drum and bass, it's fueled by less of, oh my gosh, I've been listening to this Calyx and TB album for 7 years. I'm gonna make a drum and bass. It sounds like it. I grew up sitting at the beach, drinking rum, listening to a guy play the guitar while his brother plays the bongos and his sister's a samba dancer. And then there's Carnival. That culture that educates the producer is a completely different world than, and this isn't the angry old guy thing, but just some of the younger people who are just, I have to listen to drum and bass all day or I'm not cool. I have to know every sample and every sound and every release. Like that just makes almost an inverted twist of the drum and bass where you're making drum and bass inspired by drum and bass as opposed to drum and bass inspired by the world around you. And if it's all drum and bass, it's cool, but I think that's why you get such a mass vanilla overload of drum and bass that people only want to play 40 seconds of.
Oh yeah, totally. And every track is structured the same, and they're all using similar sounds, and every label is putting out similar art and similar releases and similar. Sure. That's what I mean, man. That's the kind of weird, the shitty side about the oversaturation. You know, I think the fact it's kind of ironic almost to complain about oversaturation, if you get what I'm saying. Do you know what I mean? It's like, hang on a second, do you think undersaturation is a worse complaint? You know, like you think in the early 2000s when like it dropped off completely in Ireland or whatever, people, you know, like where we are now is great. The fact we have too many club nights going on is like, it's actually a good thing, but like we all need something to give out about, I guess. But I think
have too much.
There's a negative side to it, and that being the quality control being the big one that everyone's always aware of and talks about. And then obviously finding the quality tunes, and so much quality tunes getting put under lesser quality tunes just because of groups and hype and whatever. And I don't think that's good either, you know.
Do you want to trust these people with your name and or music? Like as an artist, you have to find a little, you know, unless you're just, I just want to be on label, whatever. I don't care how much of an asshole the person is.
Yeah.
But I think that nowadays, like to me, like I don't really like, I'm sure if a couple of the bigger ones were like, maybe. It's like, I don't want to be signed to anybody exclusive, and I want to talk to people and work with people.
Know them, you know?
That I want to have a beer with.
Yeah.
Like I do want to work with people who I share values with.
Totally. And you actually appreciate them as a person as well, because that's really important, man. That's something I learned really hard over the last 2 years. Obviously, I'm a bit closer to the hub, I guess, of drum and bass. I'm a bit closer to Bristol and some of, you know, one of the main places or whatever. But like, still, I'm in Ireland, you know, so we're far away. So, got a lot of stupid messages popping up distracting me. But yeah, we're still far away, and I can't remember exactly what I was on about. Sorry, I just got distracted by that message. But
I think after 2 hours, you're allowed to be a little.
Yeah, straight out. Yo, I got real quick fires for you as well before we run out. Jungle or drum and bass?
What?
Jungle or drum and bass?
They're the same fucking thing.
Yeah, my boy, I was waiting for that one. Whiskey or cognac?
Whiskey.
Dispatch or critical?
Dispatch.
Hospital or Metalheads? Probably an easy one.
Metalheads.
Yeah, I thought so. Goldie or Dillinger?
As far as what?
Just Goldie or Dillinger, what comes to mind first thing? Who's more important to you, or in your opinion, maybe more important to Jungle or more?
Dillinger from a production standpoint, Goldie as an ambassador standpoint.
There we go. I love it. And yeah, another one is, who is your actual favorite artist? Like, who is there a top 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 1 that you, not even as an inspiration, I'm not on about that, just that you enjoy in drum and bass or jungle? Who is the one that you're like, oh, that's my dude? You know what I mean?
God damn, that's tough.
The hard one.
Fuck.
I'll start with mine so you can have a think. Mine's probably, as cliche as it is, it probably is Calibre, and just for the sense that his music is so timeless, it's integral to drum and bass. He has the cultural impact. He's obviously Irish. He's Northern Irish. And also it's music. You know, it's something that I'm going to listen to in 10 years, and I'm still going to listen to and appreciate the same way.
It's not a tune.
Yeah. But that's mine anyway. So I don't know if you have one or if you've ever thought about it.
That's tough.
Good question, right? It's a good one for the future.
I'd probably have to say, overall, in the grand scheme of drum and bass, I would still to this day have to go with Doc Scott.
Yeah, that's the type of answer I was looking for. That's good.
I had a dog and I named him Doc after Doc Scott.
No way, that's sick, man.
The tape I ever had was Doc Scott on one side and Chemistry and Storm on the other.
No way.
That's
cool, man.
The Metalheads tour in 96, 97, the first Metalheads tour, big Metalheads tour. It was Doc Scott, Bailey, and Storm.
Oh, amazing.
Cleveland, Ohio.
What year was that?
96, 97?
Damn, that's great.
Something like that. And
I was like 3, bro. That's like 3 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, crazy, right? But
yeah,
I mean, it's from a standpoint of ambassador, DJ, producer, label owner, all around. I mean,
multifaceted sort of. Yeah.
I mean, Shadowboxing and For the Cause on Enforcers, I think 4 or 5 are 2 songs that form. But I think maybe if you put a gun to my head at the end of the day, as far as just pure production style, I might have to go with Photech.
Yeah, all right, fair enough.
Maybe not this whatever thing he did like a week ago, because I just heard too many horror stories about buying and not being able to get it. Plus being unemployed with COVID, I didn't have the money for it. But I think from a standpoint of production, I might have to go.
No, I think that's another thing I wanted to get on as well. It's like, I love your answers, both of them. I think are fucking great. I love picking people's brains about important influences, because I think it's it tells a lot as well. If someone, some people might pick a real unknown legend. I've asked some people that question before, and they pick someone I've never even heard of from their local scene. Or like some people like me see these guys who are like tastemakers, like Doc Scott. To me that's like, Andy C, Goldie, Doc Scott, Anti-C1. He is, or Carcer and Eno. Then these guys play a tune and people fucking listen, that kind of way, or they sign a tune and people are like hyped that they signed a tune to their label or a label to do with them, whatever. And then you also touched on the whole super producer shit. You know what I mean? Like when Photech, like he's just a perfect example of like a producer's producer, as well as an audience's producer. He's just like, he hits every fucking nail on every head at the same time. And even someone like me who might necessarily be into that style of music all the time, as soon as I hear a Photech tune, that appreciation is there. Even before I know it's a Photech tune, it's just something about the sound and the clarity and the production.
And then you think about the technology they wrote it on when they were doing that on those old Akais and Emus. It's like,
it makes the sound, it gives that fucking sound, as well as like obviously I follow a lot of modern jungle as well and stuff, but like I love modern jungle, like jungle produced and then modern or whatever. But like, there's something about when you hear a tune made on a tracker or whatever that you just can't replicate that. Even if you try as hard as you can. Nope. It's just, I don't know what it is. I don't pretend to know the technicalities or ins and outs.
Can you hear that?
Something about it's like when someone makes a hip hop beat on an MPC, you're not gonna get that on this little on a mini or something. It's just not gonna sound the same. No matter, you could replicate every setting down to a T, and it's just
Can you hear that outside of my window?
No, I can't. What is it?
Okay. Yeah, there's a car alarm, and then the car went by with just this ridiculous sound system.
Oh shit!
It set off all the car alarms on the block.
That's funny.
So I was like, what the fuck? And then everyone's kind of tripping them off.
Yeah, no, I just got fucking a bunch of animals you can probably hear on my side, man. Sorry, I got like 4 dogs, a lot of cats. I live in a pretty small house too, so it's a bit crazy. But
it's all right. Well, you know what? It has been 2 hours, and I have to go get ready for the dinner with the missus.
Get some tea, my dude. I really enjoyed it, and I really want to thank you for having me on.
For sure, we're definitely gonna have to do this again. I mean, like,
as well, man. It was sick to just fucking chat to you because we've been talking for so long, on and off, and it's nice to actually like put a face to the name and listen to your voice, and you know, that kind of way. Yeah.
Right after typing, there's only something, with all the fonts.
Oh yeah. I think that's another real positive thing about this COVID that has happened, that it has made normalized online stuff like this, and it's made people be a lot more real with it. You know, it's not just like this thing you do every now and then. It's like people have conversations now, like, you know, over things, and I think it's really cool.
And I actually have the time. You know, we actually have the time to be human again.
Yeah, exactly. And you get to know each other.
Like, I can actually have a conversation as opposed to like 20 minutes in between lunch, I'm sending you a message.
Yeah, exactly. It's like instead of a 20-minute interview, you can do a podcast because you're not like, oh shit, I need to fucking, you know what I mean?
Right. You're not
trying anyway, I don't want to keep rambling. I'll let you go, man, and enjoy your day. And yeah.
All right. So check out Boey Audio and ALTEX. Book them when you can have club events if you're in Europe. Have this guy. Actually, we're North America. Bring him over. We'll do a Boey tour in the U.S.
I'm willing to come, man. I'll pay a visa. Let's do it. Anybody.
Wonderful. And I'll put all
we'll do a few shows someday, I'm sure, man.
Sure. And I'll put all of your links down below so people can figure out the support and make sure that creative people can keep being creative all over the world.
Safe, man. And big up Green Dad. Big up BMA. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for always supporting Boey, giving us the love, and thank you for your music. For real. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you for supporting it.
Fucking check this dude out. I think he's this way. He might be this way.
I think when it flips,
his links down. Safe, man. Big up. I'll see you. And big up Philly. Thoughts out to everyone out there, man. Please, I hope you all stay healthy and shit. Big up, yeah. Holla, my dude.
Later.
I'll chat to you later.
Sounds good. Peace.